I'm Jen Wirt. I'm a conscious parent coach, which means I support families across North America in helping them to prioritize connection and nurture their relationships with their young ones, preschool and elementary school aged kiddos. I have almost 30 years experience and training and study in social and emotional intelligence. And this is my truest passion, raising consciousness and upping emotional intelligence at home. So we show up in parenting the most present and authentic, in the most present and authentic ways that we can.
Amazing. Amazing. We love it. We love it. And so necessary, Jen. It's so necessary. So one of the questions that we get over here at Fresh Starts goes something like this. I'm a parent, and what are some tips for enjoying parenthood and just not feeling so stressed all of the time, Jen? Because as we know, parenthood plus life is very stressful. So what are some tips that you give to your clients for actually enjoying parenthood?
Oh, I love this question so much because this is really at the root of why I do what I do. It's all in the mindset, is my belief. It's how we show up in our parenting. And you're right. You've heard it. I hear it every day. Parenting is exhausting. It's really, really hard. And it's thrilling and rewarding and humbling and confusing and stressful. It's all of those things. At the same time, it's on us to show up in a way so we don't miss it. Our kids, the days are long, but the years go so fast. Our kids are children for only a short period of time. So being able to do our best in this time, especially in the foundational years of elementary school, preschool and elementary school, is so, so important. How to enjoy parenthood without so much stress? I would say there are 3 things. Number 1 is to really practice gratitude. And I'm sure people have heard this before. I mean, according to Harvard Health, positive psychology research everywhere, it's consistently shown that gratitude is closely linked to greater happiness. This is true too in parenting, but it does take a very dedicated commitment to the practice of gratitude, seeing our children as the gifts that they are. Sure, parenting is exhausting and it's a roller coaster, right? But it's truly our honor to be guiding these little beings, these human beings in their development. And that is a mindset shift. That in itself takes some practice. But the practice of gratitude will help you get there. So by this, I mean starting the day, right? Maybe your day is started by your kid jumping on you. Maybe your day is started by somebody crying, right? There are a million different ways that our days begin as parents. But no matter how it begins, pausing just long enough, even a minute or less, to just notice a few things, look around, slow down, a few things that you're grateful for, and ending your day this way. You're probably beat. You may be frustrated. You may be displeased. You may be worried, but nonetheless, at the end of the day, ending your day with a few things that you're grateful for. And as a family, on the regular, daily, right? Listing your gratitudes, noticing, looking around and holding that mindset of what you're grateful for. Even doing it with your kids. You could even have a coffee table gratitude journal for the whole family because it brings everyone back to equilibrium. And actually gratitude, what it does is brings us right into the present moment. You notice it, play with it, list a thing or two that you're grateful for, and you come into the present moment. You can't be in the past or the future when you are in gratitude. And that brings me to number 2, which is prioritizing presence. And this too takes, it takes practice and it takes support and it takes commitment. But man, does it make parenthood more fun. Practicing presence, when I say this, I mean, for those of you who may not have a mindfulness background or any experience in that, it basically means being in the here and now. I used to say to myself when my kids were little, being where your hands are, right? Our minds are so all over the place, the monkey mind, right? But I'm talking about being where your hands are in your body, not in the past, ruminating about what happened yesterday or an hour ago, not in the future, worrying about what will be, right? Worrying about what your kiddo's behavior means for the future, any sort of example like this. But being right here and now with your children in your body, not trying to keep up with the neighbors or stuck in the shoulds or the shouldn'ts, just being present with what is, what really is, whether you like it or not, which is really about fully accepting. And acceptance has a quieter energy. It is present. And the way to practice presence is really, I tell my clients, you can take 5 to 15 seconds to do little micro practices all day. I won't go through them now, but really the best way to begin is just to tune into your 5 senses. So again, whether you're alone throughout your day, take a break from your desk if you work at home, step outside, put your face up toward the sky and feel the sun on your face, right? Feeling the temperature while you're washing the dishes at night. And kids may be loud and running around, but feel the water over your hands, right? And feel it flowing over your hands. You could do this with the kids on your way walking into school in the morning. What do we hear? Do you hear that bird song? Right? Noticing with them, stopping to smell something. Right now it's the time of year when the evergreens here, well, the bark smells so much like butterscotch. Just stopping and smelling that for a minute, that brings you into the present moment. And modeling this and doing it with your kiddos is super fun and super positive. And also just to say, when you are triggered, which we are a lot in parenting, you're triggered and you're dysregulated and your kid is dysregulated maybe too. These micro practices of tapping into your senses a few times every day when you're calm trains the brain so that when you are triggered, your brain knows the way back to regulation and to that calm. It's actually rewiring. Yeah. Okay. It's enough about that. But one particular sense I do want to point out is being present really allows us, in terms of the listening sense, it allows us to really hear, not just listen to what our kids are telling us, but to hear what they're telling us. Really hear, if you know what I mean, and hear what they may be asking for. It helps us to better understand their behaviors. If we slow down and quiet our minds enough so we can hear without the judgment railing through like it does, without the comparison maybe to the other kids or the neighbor's kids, without the assumptions, I assume you did that to make me crazy, right? No. But seeing the world really from their point of view requires us to be really present and really hear what they're saying as if you're hearing it for the first time. And along those lines, one more thing about presence is if you can do this practice even once a week, even once a month, where you stand back and you just look at your kiddo like you don't know them, like really have a look, like, who are you? Who are they becoming? So you're being truly curious about who they are and you just quietly watch and enjoy them. You could even ask questions with no agenda except to get to know them better. What's it like to be starting 3rd grade? What is that like? Really genuinely from a beginner's mind. There's so many fun and easy ways that you can tap into and see them from a little bit from afar. And we forget this practice, but it really does lead to appreciating our kids for who they truly are, which is way more enjoyable than being caught up in our minds about who they should be or who they aren't, or who they are and you don't want them to be, and all the other. Okay. And lastly, number 3, more enjoyment into parenthood. I would say is more tenderness to yourself and to your kiddos, really in all the relationships in your home. So when you're triggered, right. And by triggered, for those of you who may not know that word, I mean, you're off, you're dysregulated. You don't have the bandwidth to deal. You're in your amygdala, in your lizard brain, you're upset. I want you to just practice noticing and admitting that you're triggered, right? And bring that self-compassion in. It's really a generosity of spirit that I would say parents, at least clients that I work with, they work to hone their generosity of spirit to themselves, toward themselves, and toward their kiddos. So not jumping to the assumptions that the kiddo's being naughty just to bug me, right? Those words don't even resonate with me. No, they're actually acting, they're behaving a certain way to try to communicate with you. So the generosity of spirit, even if you act in a way you're not super proud of, you yell. We all do it. But giving yourself that compassion and tenderness to forgive yourself. And say, I was really dysregulated out loud, even in front of your kids. Whoa, that didn't come out how I wanted to. Let me try that again, right? So with more tenderness, I mean, when we behave in ways we don't want, or when mistakes are made, ours or our children, we forgive easily. And this requires the reframe of humbly seeing parenting as a learning, as we're learning right alongside our children, and they're learning. We're all learning along in the journey, really, of parenting. And to end, I'll just say this really takes a thoughtful design of your home environment, one where tenderness is woven throughout. So imperfection is allowed, accepted. Space is made for all the feelings, the positive ones as well as the harder ones. There's space made for it. And everyone in your home, your microcosm of the big world, your community, everyone feels respected and seen as being human, both the big people and the small people. Everyone is seen and understood to be on their own path. So it's a community you want to be a part of. At your home, I want it to feel supportive and tender and loving. It makes it way more fun. If that's the baseline, that's where we all return to day in and day out.
I love all of that, Jen. No notes. That was 10 out of 10 perfect advice. All of it. I think it was, I love the gratitude part. I love everything you said. It was so important. If you are a parent and you're listening to this, rewind and listen to that again. I think that was just so well said. So, Jen, how do you work with clients if somebody's listening to this and they're like, I need help accessing all of what she just said?
Yeah, well, that's why I'm here. That's what I do. It's my calling. It's why I was put on planet Earth to work with me. All the links are there in the notes, right? I'd go to my website and book a session. You can book a free consult, or we can dive in and book a one-on-one. The way I work with the majority of my families is they come into a 3-month container, right? Because these things take support and accountability and practice, and there are fits and starts. So they come into a 3-month container, and with me as their guide and on their team, their parenting is transformed. The mindset is actually shifted. And it's only about 2-3 degrees, but it's a really big shift. Because if you think about a steering wheel on a boat, right? And you set it, you can walk around the boat and it's going one direction. But if you move that steering wheel 2 to 3 degrees, you can end up on a different continent. And that's where I want parents to go. I want them to spend these early years, these foundational years, when you are laying the tracks, focused on these kinds of practices, this mindset, so that you enter adolescence and experience adolescence with so much more ease and such a stronger, deeper connection.
I love that. Yes. And all of Jen's links will be in the show notes and in the blog post. And of course, you can find Jen on her website and on Fresh Starts Registry in the expert guide. Jen, thank you so much for all of that sage wisdom. yes, this is clearly your life's calling. And I'm sure so many parents come to you and they just walk away feeling so empowered and so ready to be the parent that they always wanted to be.
Yeah, they already are. And so it's really just bringing out in them what they know, moving intentions into actions and words and energy. I'm so excited to work with you, and thanks for listening.
Thank you, Jen.